Yeah, so let's begin with our today's session. Hello, all. Good morning. My name is Akshay Pawar, uh, and I'm here to take a demo class on ABAP programming for SAP ERP. So, I'm a certified consultant, and I have worked with industries like Wipro Limited, Hurt IT, Onama Consultation. Uh, so, today we are starting with our course on uh, ABAP. Okay. A few things regarding me. So I have completed my SAP certifications uh, in SAP NetWeaver 7.5 as an ABAP development associate, native HANA development 2.0, then ABAP on HANA 2.0. I have also completed my Fury certification, and one of the certification that I hold is regarding to utilities for SAP ERP. Those who are not speaking, please go on mute. Thank you. Yeah, I have 5+ years of experience in ABAP development, and I have handled many scenarios, complex as well as uh, uh, what you can say trivial scenarios, including WebDyn Pro, object-oriented ABAP, basic reporting, interfaces, proxies, so on and so forth over my career in ABAP consultation. So today, before jumping on to ABAP programming, we would like to uh, take you through the basics of an ERP system. What is an ERP system? What are the possible solutions that the market provides and in terms of ERP software, and why we are choosing SAP as an ERP software, mm, followed by some technical concepts in SAP ERP. What is the SAP system architecture? Uh, what is the what are the different modules that are present in SAP, where you can build your career as an SAP consultant, uh, followed by technical concepts of ABAP. So, what SAP is basically it's an enterprise resource planning software. So, what is ERP? So, ERP is nothing but a software which integrates multiple aspects of an uh, uh, industry. For example, you can see here an ERP system is nothing but at the fundamental level, it's a software, and at the very crude level, it's a database management system. So ABAP is dealing with this database management system, and it gives us a mechanism by which we can deal with the database which is driving the SAP ERP software. So before understanding how ABAP deals with this, we need to understand what is an ERP software and what are the core concepts that lie behind an ERP software. So a particular enterprise will have typically various departments. Like you can see in the diagram, it shows that it has a financial department, it has a supply chain management department, it has a customer relationship management department. Basically, these are reflected in SAP Consulting as different modules. Okay, so these are called as functional modules in SAP Consultation terminology. So an ERP system is nothing but a combination of all these modules, and an enterprise comprises of these departments, whichever are shown in the diagram. So as I said, at its core, ERP is nothing but a database management system. So what we will be basically doing as an ABAP consultant is we will be taking care of how the data gets generated in an SAP system and how it is managed in the database layer, and what all things uh, are there in terms of data handling. That is what we will be doing via ABAP program. Okay. There are other aspects in ABAP also that we'll explore as we go forward in our course. So basically, an enterprise resource planning is nothing but a software which integrates all the areas of a business. And some of the typical areas have been shown in the diagram. Okay. So, a very important terminology in terms of SAP consulting or in ERP is the business process. Okay. Business process is nothing but a set of rules which are followed by an organization in order to do their daily activities while running their business. The diagram shows that each of the oval shaped circle is nothing but a department in a organization. Okay. For example, there is a sales department, there is an inventory department, there is a production and planning department, there is a finance department, there is a HR department, and then there are vendors from where the uh, what you can see the organization does business with these vendors. Okay. So, for example, let us take a example of a furniture industry. Okay. So let us take an example of a big giant like Godrej. Okay. So what Godrej sells is nothing but furnitures like the beds, sofas, uh, etc. So the raw material that is required for manufacturing this is wood. Sorry. Does anybody want to speak something? Yeah. Yeah. If yeah, you will get to ask the questions, but just there is a separate slot reserved for Q&A. Okay. So kindly wait out the session and then we'll have a separate discussion on Q&A. So I was trying to explain the business process in terms of a Godrej furniture manufacturing firm. So the raw material required to produce the beds and sofas is nothing but wood. So Godrej is going to procure woods from the vendors. So whenever a Godrej outlet receives an order of a king size bed, so what it's going to do is first of all the sales department is going to check its inventory. Okay, the sales department is going to check the inventory whether they have a bed readily available with the specified specifications by the customer or as per the customer need. If the inventory doesn't hold that particular you can say a bed of that particular specification, then what the sales department has to do is to get this made. Okay, to get the bed made as per the customer's requirement, what they require is raw material. So there comes the production and planning department. So production and planning department will check its inventory whether it has sufficient raw materials to get this bed delivered to the customer and get it made. So if the inventory doesn't hold appropriate number of what you can say employees or raw material, so employee is nothing but a particular asset of an uh, organization. So if employees are not there, for example, if the carpenter is not there, even if you have the raw material, you won't be able to produce the bed unless and until you have the carpenters in a required number. So if there is like less number of workers available, then what the production and planning department needs to do is it has to contact the HR department to get the required what you can say workers on payroll to get the work done and deliver the bed to the customer. So there is an interplay of multiple departments in a particular organization to get a particular requirement satisfied from the customer. So this has to happen with a specified set of rules. So the rules are called as business process. So what a SAP consultant does is gets these rules set into the ERP system. Okay. So business processes and business rules are given by the customer to an SAP consultant, and these business rules are need to be implemented into the SAP ERP system or any ERP for that matter. We are discussing SAP because this course is related to ABAP development, and ABAP is a language which is used for development in SAP. So I'll be primarily focusing on SAP ERP software, but this applies to all the ERPs as a whole. So business process is nothing but a set of rules by which an organization does business. Hope this makes clear the uh, concept of business process, and all the development, all the consultation, and everything in SAP uh, runs around this business process. Okay, so an ABAPer also has to ultimately learn what the business process is. He just cannot go on blindly coding some uh, program without understanding the business process, what it is. Okay, it's a very important part in SAP culture. Then why we go for an ERP? Okay, so as you know, like you can run a business using Excel sheets also. But what happens is when the business starts growing and when it reaches a particular threshold, it becomes very difficult to manage the data that is being generated by daily business activities. So this would result into information silos between the various departments that are there in a particular organization. Like we just now saw that there are multiple departments that are there in a particular organization, and data needs to be flown between these departments. For example, uh, let's take an example of a finance department and HR department. The finance department is responsible for paying out the salaries of the employees, and the employee master data is maintained by the HR department. So if the HR doesn't share the uh, employee details with the finance department, that month's salary for a particular employee might not be credited. So this would result in disrepute for the company. For example, let us say you get hired in a particular new organization, and the HR department generates all the employee number and all that data that is required for an employee's life cycle in that system. And by mistake, or let us say they don't have an ERP software with them, and the mechanism is that they have to share the new employees details to the finance department via a mail or via an Excel sheet. And if the HR executive fails to do that particular activity of sharing the employee details in time, then this would result in loss of salary, or what you can say, the salary would not get credited for that employee for that particular month. So this is called as information silo, and this can happen if your enterprise is, or if your organization is large enough, and there is what you can say, no proper communication channel between the different departments. So to overcome this basic information silo, we need to have a proper ERP software in which the dependency on the individuals to do manual work is like minimized. So that is what the benefits of ERP software is listed there. Improves business quality and efficiency. That is, eliminates silos across departments. And the example that I gave will that is an example of silo between any two departments. It improves the possibility of allowing automation. Okay, so manual activities can be reduced using an ERP software by implementing automation programs or bots. As you know, built to fit specific needs. An existing ERP system can be enhanced or customized as per the business rules of a particular organization. That is what the meaning of built to fit specific needs means. This is what important. This particular third point, built to fit specific needs, is where the ABAP developers come in. Okay, so there are some customized requirements by the client which are not possible, or SAP or the ERP software doesn't give you this. So you have to uh, develop a program or that application um, in a customized way. Okay, so that possibility is also there. A new program needs to be generated. For example, the functionality of the program is not readily given by SAP as of now. You need to develop that program. That is what we mean by customized to fit individual business needs. And again, nowadays, you know that everything is on the cloud. So the ERP software nowadays can be deployed on cloud or on premise. On premise in the sense, nowadays you won't see anything on premise, because you know what are the limitations of an on premise system. You cannot log into it uh, from home. Nowadays, like work from home is there. So by default, all the systems are on the cloud. Okay, on-premise in the sense the server is there uh, in the company's mainframe only. Okay, and it can be accessed via the uh, intranet only. Okay, so nowadays what we have is we have work from home. We just use a VPN and we log into the system. Okay, so that is what the advantage of ERP is and why we go for an ERP. So ERP vendors, coming to ERP vendors, as I in the starting slide itself, I said that there are many ERP vendors that are available in the market. SAP is the leading one. Uh, these vendors are some of the vendors that I have listed out. These are not covering all of the vendors that are available in the ERP world. Okay, so SAP is the leading one. Okay, it's a German software. Oracle is there. Microsoft Dynamics is there. Salesforce is there. So many of the others are also there. So yeah, but SAP is one of the leading one. Uh, just now you have heard about the news that Google has moved its finance from Oracle to SAP. So this has resulted in increase of like the stock price of the SAP share as well. So that is what I say about SAP is that SAP is like a growing company and the ERP in terms of ERP vendors, SAP is the topmost at the moment. Okay. Then why we should go for SAP and not for any other ERP software? The first point is SAP is a centralized ERP system. So centralized in the sense there is a single database which is synchronized with all the data of an enterprise. Okay, it's not the only reason why we should go for an SAP. Other ERP softwares are also having the same thing. It's a centralized ERP system. Okay, decentralized in the sense, uh, what is decentralized ERP system? A decentralized ERP system is one in which each of the individual modules, like the finance module, inventory module, sales, HR, etc., whatever modules are there, will be maintaining their own data. Okay, will be maintaining their own data in a different database altogether. So inventory will have its own database, finance will have its own database, HR will have its own database, and later at a particular synchronizing point, all the data from the corresponding databases, individual databases, will be synced into a centralized database. So such type of architecture, if it is there, then it's called a decentralized ERP system. Okay, but SAP does not follow this architecture. It is a centralized ERP system. At real time, only one database is maintained for all the uh, what you can say modules, finance module, inventory module. All the enterprise data is maintained at a single storage point. So that's what the point we covered. Yeah, what is important is different modules are fully integrated into SAP ERP. So what do you mean by fully integrated into SAP ERP is that uh, the inventory data is directly available to a finance program also. Okay, the programs developed in SAP are called ABAP applications. So these ABAP applications, since the data is maintained in a single database only, it's a centralized database, the inventory data is readily available for a finance program. The finance data is readily available for an HR program if required. If at all it is required, it is present. That is what I'm saying. So what I can say is these modules are integrated uh, in SAP. Okay, it's quite a difficult thing to explain what is an integrated, but whenever there is a possibility that I can highlight this point in real-time demos that I'll be giving during our development classes, I will try to highlight this point. What is an integrated SAP here? Okay. So besides that, SAP has its own proprietary set of softwares. Like CRM system is different, SRM system is different, ERP is there. Data they have their own database nowadays called HANA. So SAP provides everything from scratch. Like if you want a customer relationship management software, we have it. It's called CRM. If you want a vendor relationship management, we have it. We call it as SRM. So you want a basic ECC ERP system to run your business, we have it. If you want a database, yeah, we have the best database that is possible currently. We have it. So SAP provides everything from scratch. You don't have to go to a different vendor for a particular solution. Okay, that's what the best thing is there about SAP. Whatever you want, 90 to 95% of the time, SAP has a solution for that for you. Okay, so no need to change the vendor for any of these. Okay, that is why we go for SAP and not for any other software. Of course, industries are running their business on ERP softwares which are other than SAP. But as an SAP consultant, you should always try to highlight how your software is better than the other ERP softwares that are available in the market. So now coming to the technical part of a particular SAP landscape. Okay, what do you mean by SAP landscape? I hope all the points discussed so far are clear actually. The points discussed till now were of uh, ERP. What is an ERP? Why we are going for an ERP software? What is the basic underlying principle of an ERP software? Why SAP is to be used as an ERP software? And now we are moving ahead into the actual technical part of SAP, from where actually the ABAP part starts, not exactly coding, but the basic technical details that are required to be understood by an developer or ABAP developer starts from this point onwards. Okay, SAP landscape. So, what is an SAP landscape? It is a roadmap of systems that are aligned so that to run a particular development project or support project. Okay, so I'll repeat it. SAP landscape is nothing but an arrangement of systems or a roadmap of systems via which a particular development or support project is run. Okay, so this the diagram shows that there are three cylindrical boxes. One is labeled as dev, second one is labeled as was, and the last one is prod, meaning the first one is dev, means it's a development environment. Okay, here the ABAPers will be working, here the functional consultants will be working to implement a particular requirement or business process. Earlier we saw what is a business process. It's nothing but a business rule. That rule needs to be implemented in your ERP system. In this case, the ERP system is a SAP system. So in the development environment, we will be implementing our uh, business rule. Okay, it might require some configuration, it might require some development work done by the ABAPer. So all these this hard work of development and configuring is not done in a quality system, neither is it done in the production system. It is always done in the development system. So once the development and configuration and unit testing part is complete, unit testing is, as you might be aware, unit testing is simply testing your piece of code with some dummy inputs. Okay. So once you are comfortable that your development or whatever config you have done is working fine, then a more intricate testing is required, which is done in the quality environment. Okay, the quality environment is the environment in which the developer has no authority to like change the code or do anything. Okay, only the quality people will work in this environment. They will provide different sets of inputs to your SAP ABAP application. They'll try to test it and see whether it's working correctly as per the business rules required by the customer. Once that is done, once everything is found okay, then the changes are moved to the production environment. Okay, so uh, the movement of the configuration from development environment, configuration or what you can say development done by the ABAP, that is a program developed or configuration done, the movement is done via transport request. Okay, the movement is done via transport request. It's a very important point that needs to be highlighted here. Transport request. Okay, so the development or configuration work that needs to be moved from development to quality and quality to production is done via a object in SAP known as a transport request. Okay, that is what the point says at the end. Transport requests generates no transport request generates no transport request. We look at this, how it gets generated, what it contains, what all the things, how your changes get captured in the transport request during the development phase of an ABAP application. Okay, in much detail. Just for now, just remember that the changes are moved via the transport request mechanism. Okay. Just want to add in this slide is that these are not the only three systems that can be there in the landscape. There might be a pre-prod system also. After the quality system, there might be a block here as well called pre-prod system. There might be one or two blocks after the quality system also. Okay, called the pre-prod, that is pre-production. There can be one more block called the training system as well. Okay, so it depends on the client what architecture or what landscape they want to maintain. Okay, so that's all about the SAP landscape. This landscape you will be finding wherever you go and whichever for whichever client you implement the SAP or you implement the support. These three blocks will be minimum always there in the landscape. So now digging deep into each of the individual blocks, now we saw that dev block, cost block, and prod block is there. Now we'll simply focus on individual block. Like let us consider the dev block. So the dev block or the development environment, or in that case, any SAP system architecture has these three layers. Okay, the first layer is the presentation layer. The second one is the application layer, and the last layer is the database layer. Now, as the diagram shows, the database layer stores all the data. Okay, the database layer comprises of a database, which can be any database. As a matter of fact, SAP supports all the databases. So it's not that SAP has its own database and only that database needs to be used for an SAP ERP application or anything. SAP supports any and all databases. Second one is the application layer. Application layer is something where the actual program ABAP application runs. Okay, so in the coming slides we will further explore how an ABAP application runs. Application layer is nothing but a NetWeaver environment. NetWeaver is the runtime environment required for an ABAP application to run. Just for example, if you take a Java application, it requires JRE to run, okay, or JVM to run. Okay. So similarly, an SAP ABAP application requires NetWeaver to run. Okay, it cannot run directly. It should have a particular environment. That environment is called NetWeaver. Okay, so that is what the application layer is all about. Application layer is the layer where the program runs. Whatever data is requested, read write is done from the application layer to the database layer. Presentation layer is your desktop, okay, or the presentation layer can be an application via which you can log in into the application layer. Okay, you can log into the application layer using a software called SAP GUI Logon Pad, or you can log into the application layer using the browser also in case of WebDyn Pro applications. Okay, so presentation layer can be a browser, it can be a SAP GUI Logon Pad, or we are going to use SAP GUI Logon Pad specifically to log into the application layer where we are going to do the development. Okay. So always remember SAP R3 architecture consists of three parts. First is the presentation layer, which is nothing but your desktop or browser or an application via which you are going to log in to your application layer. Okay, the application layer is the actual environment in which you will be doing the development, as well as the ABAP applications will be running in the application layer. The database layer is where the actual data resides. And whenever you want to process the data, you have to first pull the data from the database layer into the application layer, process the data, and then show the results on the presentation layer. Okay. I hope this is a very important concept, SAP R3 architecture. I hope it is clear. So, what are the different modules in SAP? So, uh, some of them I have listed. There are like more than 250 to 300 functional modules in SAP. All I cannot list here. So, some of the core I have listed, MM stands for material management, SD stands for sales and distribution. Earlier, I had shown a slide regarding the business process. In that, I had showed that various departments communicate with another. You can understand by that analogy. MM is handling all the material related things like inventory management, warehouse management. These are flavors of MM. Okay, material management. Is related to sales and delivery. Okay, FI is the finance module. PP is for production and planning. Okay, there is also another module called PM called plant maintenance. Okay, another functional module is ICM. Another functional module is ISU. ICM is for commission management. Okay, another module is ISU. It is for utilities industries uh, like electricity, gas. So in our country, we also have started like proprietary or privatized um, utility industries like Reliance Energy, okay, Adani. So these industries provide electricity. Okay, so these are privatized providers or retailers. So the business model or they require an ERP software to run their uh, day-to-day activities. So that particular functional module which runs the business for these utilities industries, electricity, hot water, gas, for these particular industries, the functional module is called ISU. IS stands for industry specific solution and U stands for utilities. Okay. Technical modules, there are only two basically. One is the basis part, which is like an admin. Okay, and the second part is the ABAP part, which are the developer. Then there are further classifications into basis like HANA admin is there, and GRC is there. These are different flavors of basis technical consultants. And ABAP, then ABAP on HANA is there, Fury is there, uh, OData is there, workflow consultant is there. There are various flavors of ABAP consultants. So all together are clubbed into a single technical module called ABAP. Okay. So there are two SAP modules there, broad classification. So we'll be focusing on the ABAP part. Okay. So while doing ABAP, we will be using the concepts from the functional modules also, like MM, SDFI. Wherever possible, I will be highlighting what is the business scenario related to the MM module. When we are doing a development in ABAP, ultimately we will be fetching data from the database tables for material management, sales and delivery, finance. So you have to have some functional knowledge of what these tables are, what is the nature of the data stored in the table. So all that comes under ABAP, and we'll be trying to impart some knowledge of the functional part as well. So what are your career opportunities? As I have already highlighted in the technical part, these are the uh, further possibilities that you can go into. So currently we are providing training on ABAP, ABAP on HANA. Okay. Further OData also we are providing in advanced ABAP. WebDyn Pro is we are providing. Okay. Currently we are not into SAP UI5 and Fury training, but we are planning to launch a particular course as well. So SAP UI5 and Fury. Okay. Native HANA development is specific to HANA database, and it doesn't concern ABAP or the SAP application server layer. It is a separate database, and you have to log into the database and develop your database objects there itself. Okay. So native HANA development is entirely a different thing. So yeah, that's what the technical development part we are into. Okay. So coming to SAP ABAP. So ABAP actually in English it stands for Advanced Business Application Programming. It's not. It's a high-level fourth generation language, which is like developed using the concepts of Java, C++, and Python. So as I already highlighted, ABAP applications run on an environment called SAP NetWeaver. Okay, NetWeaver has its own versions, like GRE has its own versions, like GRE 6.0, 6.2, 6.8, 7.2, 8.0. That likewise, SAP NetWeaver also has its own version. Okay, the current recent version is 7.52. That is, and then again there are sub versions also 7.52, Service Pack 15, Service Pack 16, likewise. Okay, so each of the NetWeaver version has some improvement as compared to the uh, previous one. So, like in Java applications, there are certain new syntaxes that are supported after a particular release. Like, uh, for example, you can say certain syntax is supported on Java 6.0, but that syntax is no longer supported in Java 8.0, or some new syntax has been added for the same operation. So, likewise, there is also small changes in ABAP syntaxes as per the NetWeaver application server that you are using. Okay, so we'll be using the recent NetWeaver application server 7.5 and 7.4. Okay, both we are going to use. Yeah, that is what the current SAP NetWeaver supports ABAP as well as Java. Okay, so if there is Java enabled stack, then you can run your Java applications on the SAP NetWeaver application server as well. Yeah, any questions so far? Hello, hello.
No, no.
Yeah,
No
any
question.
questions?
No.
Not as of now. So, what all things we are going to cover in ABAP, uh, or what all things are there in terms of programs in ABAP? Uh, this for most simple program that will be taught is reports. Okay, what these do? Reports are nothing but like you can understand. Report is what like an Excel sheet coming at the output, telling you what all things are there as per your selection criteria. So what it says is provide some form of output to user based on the input. Take input from the user, process that input, and give an output to the user. Okay, so that type of programs are called as report programs. Okay, second type of program that we'll be covering in detail. So reports have many flavors. I've just written a single point. Reports are of many types, and sometimes these do not produce outputs also. They directly update the database tables or directly send an IDOC out of the system, or there are many possible outcomes. They write a file to the application server. They write a they trigger a proxy. There are n number of outputs possible from a report program. Okay, it's not just take input and show output. Okay? Furthermore, reports also have like various flavors like interactive reports, ALV reports, list reports, interactive list reports, interactive ALV reports. Okay? N number of possibilities are there in terms of reports. All the business scenarios will be covered during the training, okay? Hands-on exercise. So second type of program are called as module pool program. These are related to screen programming. Okay. So what is screen programming in the sense? Just we'll log into one of our systems, and so this particular box that you are seeing currently, this application software that I'm using is called SAP Logon Pad, okay, or SAP GUI Logon Pad. So this is used to log into the SAP NetWeaver application server. Okay, so one system we have already added here. Okay, so its name is given as a free text here. Yeah. You just double click on it. It will ask a user ID and password. So the particular screen that you are seeing. So this has been designed by SAP. It's a standard SAP screen. Okay, login screen. So module pool program deals with the design of this particular screen. We'll just log into system. Okay, so once I log in, I get another screen called SAP Easy Access screen. So you can see the layout of the screen is changing. Okay, so I can just go to one of the transaction code S11. So this layout is also different. Okay, so what I want to emphasize here is the screens can be these are standard screens developed by SAP for standard transactions. We can develop our own screens. Okay, we can develop our own SAP screens in this type of program called module pool program. Okay, so what all things are required to develop module pool programs? Those will be taught in this particular section, module pool programming or SAP screen programming. Classes are part of advanced ABAP, but some part of classes or object-oriented programming as required will be covered under basic ABAP as well. Okay, like ALB using classes will be covered in uh, what you can say basic ABAP as well. Okay, although the object-oriented concepts won't be taught in that detail, but usage of the classes, how to use a particular class, uh, that will be taught in basic ABAP. Okay, function modules are nothing but what you can say functions in C, or yeah, functions in C is the exact analogy that you can use for function modules. These are used for modularization. Okay, include programs are used for source code modularization. So all these type of programs, it's no point like explaining them one after the other. These will be actually covered in each individual point will be covered in detail in the training session. Workflows as of now will not be covered, but if possible, we will try to give an intro and show you a demo workflow, how it is to be triggered and what all things are required. Basic knowledge will be provided for workflows if required. If a scenario is there and if time permits, we can have a session on workflows as well. So in forms are nothing but we can say invoices that we print out of the SAP system or purchase orders. So these have a particular layout. So we are going to cover smart forms in basic ABAP course. Okay, there are other forms called Adobe Forms also, but we are not going to cover that. We are going to cover smart forms only. So in terms of ABAP programming, there is a acronym that is always used. We call it as RICEFW. Okay, RICEFW stands for reports, interfaces, conversions, enhancements, forms, and workflows. Okay, report, as we just now covered, report is nothing but take input from the user and give output to the user. Interfaces are a certain class of objects which are developed for communicating with the outside world. The outside world might be SAP, another SAP system, or it might be a non-SAP system as well. So interfaces are those objects which are developed using SAP ABAP language, which are responsible for communicating with the outside world. Okay. Conversions are programs which are used to feed the data into SAP master tables. Okay, like a crude explanation for conversions is like a program which will feed the data into SAP master tables using an Excel file, okay, or a CSV file, so that sort of a thing, or a BDC. BDC is also going to get covered. The BDC part, which is listed in the basic ABAP program, comes under conversions. Okay. Interfaces we are not covering at all because we need an external system to do communication with. So currently we do not have an external system to communicate, but whenever a scenario or if it is feasible in the course, we can try to incorporate the interface part as well in small detail. It won't be possible to replicate the whole scenario in case of interfaces. Enhancements, the part enhancement is coming into picture whenever we want to alter certain standard business logic that is written in the SAP system. Okay. For enhancements, we have multiple objects like user exits, customer exits, screen exits, menu exits, bodies, implicit enhancement, explicit enhancement. Okay, all these things will be covered under enhancements. Okay, so the term enhance means a standard SAP program will be enhanced with a custom logic. That is what the meaning of enhancements is. And what are the types of enhancement? Just now I listed out: implicit enhancement, explicit enhancement, bodies, user exit, customer exit, menu exit, screen exit. Okay, these enhancements will be covered. Forms, as I already told, smart forms will be covered. Workflows, uh, if possible, workflow will be covered, if possible. Okay. Okay, these are the tools that are that we are going to require uh, to go through our course in SAP ABAP. Not just basic, advanced ABAP also is going to require these tools. So these tools will be introduced to you in the course itself. Yeah, and that's all from me for now. I would like to just highlight the fee structure and the course details of uh, how the course is going to get conducted. Okay, this is the uh, basic ABAP that we are offering. Okay. BAPI point also is going to get covered. Again, BAPI, the point number 10 in basic topic comes under conversion only. Okay. So BAPI is a very important point that we are going to cover. So these are the batch details or schedules. For basic ABAP, we are planning to conduct this on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 3 days a week, 7:30 to 8:45 a.m. It might be extended up to 9 also. Okay. Duration will be around about 2.5 months to 3 months. Okay. But I strongly believe that basic ABAP should not take more than 2.5 months. Okay. Basic ABAP is that. Advanced ABAP plus ABAP on HANA will be conducted on Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays. Okay. Uh, Again, the time slot will be same, 7:30 to 8:45 a.m. This will take a little bit longer duration of time, 3.5 months, since it has object-oriented ABAP, OData services, WebDynPro. OData service and WebDynPro itself are huge topics, so that part is quite huge. ABAP on HANA will take around about 1 to 1.5 months. So the basic ABAP batch will be starting from 1st of June, and advanced will be from 3rd of June. So again, would like to just bring this point up that depending on the course completion, we suppose if due to any situation like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday इसमें से कोई एक दिन में मुझे ज़्यादा वर्कलोड रहेगा. Suppose I am heavily loaded with my office work. Since I'm a working professional, I have to look after the office as well as the batches as well. Okay, so hence the time slot is in the morning. Okay, evenings we are not planning to conduct the batches at all. Okay? So depending on the office work also, there might be a possibility that like Monday को possible नहीं हुआ है. Then in such scenarios, the that day's batch or that day's slot will be transferred to either Saturday or Sunday. This will be shared to you via the email. Also, it will be shared to you via the WhatsApp notifications. Okay. Uh, so you can reach out to us on either the email ID that is mentioned, unoia.edu@outlook.com, or you can use any of these mobile numbers 820832 9849 and the second one. Both are WhatsApp numbers, but I recommend that you reach out on the first number. Second number is also fine, no issues. You can reach out to us on any of these contact methods, either the mail or the WhatsApp, or you can directly give a call on the numbers. So, is any questions regarding the batches, regarding the course content, regarding anything that is bothering you right now? You can just fire away. Yeah, I'm ready to take the questions from you guys now. Yes, questions? Anybody? No questions? Yes. Anybody? Any questions? You can type in the chat box as well. If you're not able to hear me or something. Yeah, okay. Just to further add one more point, system access will be provided uh, for your practice, and the system is up 24 hours, 24 by 7. You can log into the system. A separate user ID password will be provided to you guys, via which you can log into the system. And almost all authorizations are provided, so that issue won't be there. You will be able to develop whatever program you want in the system. The duration of the system access will be 6 months from the date of joining the course. So a separate user ID will be given with that 6 month validity, and you can use that for all the 6 months. Although the course finishes in round about 3 months or 3.5 months in case of advanced ABAP, still the access will be there with you for another further 3 months. No, there is no system access extra costing. It is there in the so whatever 10,000 is there for basic ABAP, it will cover for your system access as well. Okay, no additional costing is there. Any other question? Okay, guys, then if nothing is there, I would like to stop this session today here itself. So you can join us via, or you can contact if you wish to join, or if the further details will be given to you via the personal contact, either the email or the phone numbers that I have mentioned. Next week as well, from first, as I said, batch details. From first, we will be starting basic ABAP. For the next week, the basic ABAP batch will be free. You can the next week's batch is also covered under demo only. Okay, so you need not be paying anything for attending the next two classes. So this is the first class. If you look at the syllabus, introduction to ERP is one of the topic that has been covered here in the first class. Two more classes will be offered as a demo class. Okay, you can join into it next week. Okay, Monday and Tuesday, respectively. Okay, that's it from now, from me for now. Thank you all. Thank you for joining. Cheers. Have a good day.